Hello, I'm going to show you everything you need to consider when you want to do remote freelance marketing. This mind map that you see here is every point that you need to consider. There's four main areas, right? So you've got digital marketing for your clients, you've got sales for yourself, you've got remote work, so that's the specifics of how do you actually work while you are away and doing marketing for clients who are in another country. And then you've got travel, which is the main reason that you want to do remote work, right? Which is so that you can travel around. Okay. Incidentally, every one of these blocks that you see, yeah, each of those is going to be a module inside the program, which is in the first link of the description, which I'll mention a couple of times. But let's have a look at this. So of these four areas, the ones that you really want to consider first, before you end up traveling and before you end up remote working, is learning how to actually do all the different types of digital marketing. Okay? Because if you want to get clients and you want to do marketing for clients, you need to know how to do marketing for clients. You also need to know how to sell yourself. So I'll go through this first. Sales for yourself, there's really four main methods that you're going to want to use, which is direct selling, which is where you go into a business. It's cold calling, it's where you cold call a business owner and introduce yourself. Cold email, so if you've got a particular type of customer that you want to go for and you find the leads, you can send them a very targeted cold email if you've got the right infrastructure. And then advertising. So advertising would be things like Facebook ads and Google ads if you want to reach cold audience. And then you can also do remarketing. Remarketing is where you have a website, for example, someone hits that website and then within the next few days, they're added to a list and you show them another ad. Okay, I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. Each of these is going to be covered in excruciating detail in the remote freelance marketing program. Again, it's in the description, the link if you want to join. Let's go through digital marketing for clients. What are the main areas of digital marketing that you're actually going to want to think about? Number one is obviously website building. I'm going to zoom out here. It's a very detailed pattern here that we're going to go through now. And it's everything that you need to consider. So the reason you want to think about all of these is because if you're just doing a website for a client, they're probably going to ask other areas of marketing. So if you build a website for someone, they're probably going to ask you to do some form of advertising, because a website doesn't work on its own. You can have the best website, the best looking website, but if you don't send anyone to the website, there's actually no point in having the website, right? So you've got website building, you've got email marketing, you've got advertising, which is similar to what we talked about with sales for yourself. You've got SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. SEO, if you don't know, is the process of making sure your website is set up so that platforms such as Google, which is a search engine, thinks, this website has got exactly what my customers, so Google's customers, need. And then you've got analytics. You need to know what's going on with your website. You need to know who's hitting it, where they're coming from, and what they're doing when you are on the website. The reason that you want to know this kind of thing is because your clients are going to want to know. If you do advertising for a client and you're sending people to their website, you need to know if it's effective or not. If you don't know if your website or your advertising is effective, you can't prove to the client that you're worth the money that they're spending. This is all going to become clear if you don't actually know what I'm talking about. This will all become clear. Let's go down the website building track quickly, and I'll just show you what I'm actually going to teach in the program in excruciating detail, and also what kind of videos will be coming up on this channel going forward. So if we follow the website building track, you've got a few main areas of website building. So you've got one-page websites. A one-page website is the same as a normal website, except that every piece of content that the customer is going to need is just on a single page. It may still have navigation up at the top, but those navigation options, when you click them, so for example, if you click the contact button in the main navigation, it will just take you further down the page using an anchor tag. The reason that you might want to use a one-page website instead of a full website is if you've just got quite a simple service and the information that a customer needs can be fit onto one page. That's different from a landing page. You might be thinking, well, a one-page website is a landing page. That's kind of true, but a one-page website is standalone. A landing page would be if you're delivering to a client the service of making a landing page. So if they've asked you, please can you run ads? What you probably want to do is build a single page on their website. And if you're building a single page on their existing website, that is called a landing page. Full websites. So I just explained basically what the one-page website was. A full website would be if the service they're offering or the content that they need to give to the customer is too much to have on one page. Let's say you're working with a plumbing business. Potentially, that plumbing business might need a full website rather than a one-page website because they're offering many services. They might be doing tap repairs, they might be doing boiler replacements, they might be doing full bathroom installs. Each of those services is extremely different, and so having all of that information on one page wouldn't make sense. Let's follow the full website track down. Part of what I teach for remote freelance marketing is not only building the websites, but it's also auditing existing websites. The reason that you'd want to audit an existing website is so that you can find all of the issues which are holding back the service or holding back the sales for your client. If you audit their website and you find 20 or 30 problems with the website, you can then go to them and say, hello, these are the problems with your website. Would you like me to fix them for you? And you can charge money for that. If you don't know what the problem is and you just say, hey, do you want me to fix your website? They probably don't think they've got an issue and will just say no. The building of websites, there's a few main things that you should think about, and that is which platform are you going to build it with. So the platform, these are Wix, WordPress, Code. You've got some other ones like Squarespace. The main ones that I like to work with is Code, WordPress, and Wix. Wix is a very intuitive platform now. It used to not be very good. Now it is very good. The websites you build on there are fast. You've got a whole suite of marketing tools built in. And when you hand off the website to the client, it's very simple for them to use themselves. WordPress, similar to Wix, you can use page builders on there. You've got a lot more plugins that you have to add into the build. And it's not as simple for the client to come in and update themselves. Then you've got Code. There are fantastic tools available now like Cursor and vo.dev where you can use AI to very quickly build a great website for clients. Potentially not very quickly if you want to have a website which is very interactive and the user comes in and goes through some app-like structure. But if you're building one-page websites or even full websites, brochure-style sites for a business, building with Code now is getting extremely fun. And I teach all about how to build websites with AI inside my program. So that's what you really need to know about websites, the actual building and the platforms. Then, just quickly, hosting and CDN. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. And hosting is the server which is holding the website. When I type www.yourwebsite.com, your browser that you're using goes to a server, which is basically a computer which is online all the time, requests the website, the code is sent back, and then that's when it appears on your screen. You need good hosting. I love SiteGround. I've used SiteGround for many years now. It's fairly cheap and it's very fast, and I've never had a problem with uptime. CDN, the SiteGround hosting, they will serve your website from one location. So if that location is in London and the user is requesting the location from London, the gap, like the travel time for that information, it's not that big. You don't have to go that far. But if my user is in Hong Kong and my website is being sent to them from London, there's going to be a delay. The problem with the delay is that people are very impatient. And if there's any gap between the website loading and when I've requested it, a lot of people will just leave before it's even loaded. The reason you use a CDN, a content delivery network, is this is a company like Cloudflare or like Netlify. They have servers all over the planet. And when a user requests from Hong Kong, the website will be served from Hong Kong. If the user is in America, they have servers all over America. So the website's always being served from the very closest place to the user. It makes it a much better experience. Let's jump off the website track now and let's go into another area of marketing, which is SEO. SEO, as we said, that stands for search engine optimization. And there's thousands of mini changes you can make to a client's website, which increase the chances that Google is going to show the website to users when they search. The benefit of organic traffic, which is the traffic from search engines, is that it's free. Advertising you pay per click. SEO traffic or organic traffic is free for you. So I've just listed a couple of things that you can do to improve the SEO of the business, which is schema. Schema is some code you can put in the website that basically structures information in a way that search engines robots called crawlers can really easily find and use the information. You've got YMYL, which stands for your money or your life. If you're working with a lawyer, you're working with someone in finance. Basically, if you're working with anybody who deals with things that can affect the health or the finances of other people, there are very strict rules on authority, who is going to be shown in organic search. So if you want to work with lawyers, you need to learn about your money or your life, which is you need to do more specific things on the website to demonstrate you are qualified to actually give this information. So for example, if you're an accountant, you need very specific information on the website about the qualifications that you have as an accountant. NAP. This is a very simple one, but it's name, address, phone, consistency. And that means if you've got a Facebook profile or an Instagram profile and your website and your Google My Business, is the name consistent? Is the address consistent? Is your phone number consistent? If you've got a bunch of different names and phone numbers and addresses, Google and other search engines are going to think, this is quite hard for the user to find. I don't know if I should recommend this website. Google reviews. If you can get your customers a good process for getting more Google reviews, they're going to appear higher in search. And if they're a local business, they're going to appear more often in the map pack. So for local SEO, Google reviews are extremely powerful. Page titles. Page title, when you're in Google search and you type dogs near me, right? The first links that you see, or the links that you see, the blue text in Google, that's called a page title. And the grey text underneath is called a description. You get to change those, and you can optimize them so that you stand out better to your competition. A great way of adding value to your customers is to go through every page title and every description they have on their website and just make sure they're actually saying what they do. You'll be amazed how often people don't say what they do in the page title. And that's often the first impression their customers get of the business. And then content. So writing blog content and writing informative pieces of information on the website is a great way to increase the number of times your website appears in Google search. I'm not going to go too deep into that now because it's a whole area on itself. Next, we've got analytics. I'll just briefly go through what the actual analytics platforms I teach are. And these are Google Search Console. That platform lets you see exactly which words your website appears for in Google search. It's very valuable information to the customer. And if you set up Google Search Console for someone and you see that they're actually not getting too much traffic, you can tell them, all right, we need to add more content to the website. because of this. And everything that you do in digital marketing needs to relate back to sales. So when you're thinking about this and when you're in the program, everything I teach is, how does Google Search Console increase sales for your customers? How does cold email increase sales for your customers? It all relates back to sales. Next, we've got Google Analytics. Google Analytics differs from Google Search Console because Google Analytics talks about what happens when the user is on the page. So it's talking about how many people are hitting the website and where are they coming from? How long are they spending on each page, and are they going to other pages? You can also set up event tracking. So if you have a contact form and your customer wants to know how many people are filling the contact form out, you can set that up. You would use a tool called Google Tag Manager to set that up. Google Tag Manager adds little pieces of code to the website in its own container that you can trigger, or you can set to trigger when, for example, a contact form is filled in. Then you got reporting. In the program, I'll show you exactly how to report all of these metrics to the client so that they can actually do something useful with them. And I'll show you how to report it in such a way that it shows that the work that you're doing is having a positive impact on sales. If you want to keep working with someone for a while, that is a very important aspect. Email marketing, I'm not going to cover that too much in this video because I'm going to talk about it more for the sales side. But basically, on the email side for your clients, you can do deliverability audits. So you can tell them, hey, I don't think your emails are delivering because of this reason. It's very important for your customers' emails to be delivered, right? You've got email newsletters. So email newsletters are when you write a specific set of content and then you send it out to the list of contacts that the business has. And then you've got cold email. I'm going to jump down into the sales side now to talk about cold email. I'll go back to the main middle. Sales for yourself. Cold email, infrastructure, and warming. Warming, domains, automation. Sorry about that. So setting up cold email infrastructure for yourself is quite complicated, and you need a specific piece of information so that when you send a cold email to someone that's never heard of you before, platforms like Microsoft Outlook and Gmail and Yahoo, these are the big players in the email space, they don't flag you as spam. So you need specific domains to send cold email so that your main website doesn't get blacklisted. You need a way of warming up these domains, because if you just go from a brand new domain to suddenly sending 20 emails a day from that domain, the platforms are going to think, oh, hold on, this is dodgy. They're sending a large volume of emails, blacklist. And then you want automation. Once you've set up the infrastructure, you don't want to be manually sending out 20 emails from each domain. So you need a platform like Instantly to add all your domains in, all of your contacts in, and be able to send out all of those emails. If this is all confusing and you're not really following what we're doing, but you're still here, nice one. All of that is explained in excruciating detail in the program below. Direct selling. This is probably my favorite method of generating clients, and this is where you walk into a business and you introduce yourself to the owner and you deliver a sentence like, "Hi, my name is Alex, a digital marketer. I've looked at your website and I've found 3 problems. Do you have time to go through them with me now, or can we set up a meeting later?" I teach you all about how do you find these problems. How do you look for, when you're looking through the window of the business, how do you find who is the owner based on body language? How do you portray these problems in a way that the business owner is going to listen to you, one, and then how do you relate them back to why they impact sales positively so that the business owner thinks, oh yeah, I want more sales, I'm going to pay this person to do the marketing. CRM. This is Customer Relationship Manager, and the one that I like to use is HubSpot. And this just means when you're talking to hundreds of people, you have a way to know for sure who you need to talk to next. And you can track the entire timeline. If you're in sales, it's a very important tool to be able to use. And if you're in digital marketing and you want to do digital marketing for clients, so if you want to do this digital marketing for clients, you're also going to need to sell yourself. So you can't have one without the other. Let's have a look at some of the more fun stuff. So you've done your learning about digital marketing and you know how to sell yourself. How about travel? I've traveled to many places, and some of the things that I talk about in the program, it's not just digital marketing, it's not just selling yourself. It's how do you budget yourself? How do you find cheap flights and accommodation? How do you make sure when you go to a place you're going to see some culture and you're not just ending up drinking with everyone all the time? Sure, that's fun over here, but you also need to be there and take up the culture. Next is security. How are you actually going to keep yourself safe when you're traveling? What do you do with your money? Do you keep it all in one place on you all the time? Well, what if you get mugged? So I'll show you how to make sure you have multiple cards that work in different countries, how to split up your money, and how to have things like a double wallet if you're in a particularly dodgy place. How to just make sure if you get mugged, your business isn't going to get shut down. You're going to be able to just say, okay, fine, here you are, no problem, and then get back to being traveling without it actually ruining your trip. The social side. A lot of the times, if you're traveling on your own and you're a bit shy, it can be quite hard to make friends. I've got a bunch of different ways for you to meet people, locals, hostels versus hotels, and finding friends. That's all covered in the program. On the remote work side, some clients don't really like it if you're working remotely, and they think that what they're paying for isn't getting done properly, or even they don't have the mindset of, we live in a world now where you can work from anywhere. So part of the modules that I will be doing in this course are things like, how do you actually balance the traveling? It's very hard sometimes. You arrive at a new place and then you've got to sit down for your 9 to 5 before you've even explored anywhere, but you're itching to go out. So how do you have the discipline in order to actually do that? So you need balance and discipline. VPN. What is a VPN? It's a virtual private network, and what it does, if you're trying to run ads in another country, the annoying thing, for example, if you're in Spain and you're trying to set up ads for your customer in the UK, Google is only going to show you the Spanish Google Ads platform unless you have something called a VPN, like NordVPN or ExpressVPN. VPN basically makes your computer have its traffic come out in the UK. So when Google is serving you the website, they serve you the UK version of the website. This is so useful for you because there's no way that you can have the same experience in Spain using the Spanish Google Ads platform, for example. You absolutely need a VPN. So I'll show you how to get one and how to set that up properly. I'll also show you better ways of doing video calling, because you can have a camera on your laptop and that's fine. But if your audio is really shaky, your customers get frustrated. So I'll show you how to set up your microphones properly so that when you're doing video calls, there is no problem with your customers. That is a very quick overview of the 4 main areas you need to think about if you want to do remote freelance marketing. I've been doing this for more than 5 years. It's about 9 years now I've been traveling around and doing some marketing. And I really know every single module on this like the back of my hand. And as you see, there's quite a few here. So if you want to learn all of these in excruciating detail, click the link below and join the program. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex. Bye.